Copenhagen heist. The night was thick with tension, the air heavy with the promise of chaos. On a rooftop overlooking the Danish value handling facility, a man crouched in the shadows, his gloved hands steadying a video camera. The lens pierced the darkness, capturing the scene below, a white van parked near the building, its side door wide open. Inside, stacks of cash-filled boxes gleamed under the dim light. The man on the roof whispered into his walkie-talkie, his voice barely audible over the static. "Someone's coming." "Okay, Marco, let me work, came the reply, thick with a foreign accent. "I'll be down in 10 minutes. The man on the roof, Marco, adjusted his position, his heart pounding. He knew what was at stake. Millions of Danish kroner and euros lay just below him, waiting to be taken. The perfect plan, the right crew, and a daredevil attitude. That's all it would take. And Marco had all three. Earlier that summer, the crew had been busy. Break-ins at the neighboring Milton warehouse had been a test run, a way to scout the layout and test the security. Marco and his partner, Tayyeb Marabet, had spent weeks planning, their meticulous attention to detail bordering on obsession. They knew every inch of the Danish value handling facility, every camera angle, every guard's routine. They had even stolen a massive front-end loader from a construction site, a 22-ton beast that would tear through the wall separating Milton from the cash vault. The night of August 9th, 2008, was go time. The crew moved like ghosts, their faces hidden behind balaclavas, their bodies clad in bulletproof vests. They set fire to garbage trucks across the district, blocking roads and creating chaos. Caltrops were scattered on the highways, puncturing tires and slowing down any potential police response. It was a symphony of destruction, each note perfectly timed. At 4:32 a.m., the front-end loader roared to life, its diesel engine growling like a beast unleashed. The driver, a burly man in coveralls, slammed the machine into the wall of the Milton warehouse. The building shook, plaster and cement raining down as the loader tore through the barrier. On the other side, the employees of Danish value handling froze in terror. "They're coming!" someone shouted. The robbers burst through the hole, their movements swift and precise. They carried hockey bags ready to be filled with cash. The vault, a massive steel structure, was their target. One of the men, armed with a Kalashnikov, stood guard as the others stuffed the bags with bundles of cash. The air was thick with dust and tension, the sound of their heavy breathing mingling with the clatter of falling debris. 12 minutes. That's all it took. The crew emerged from the building, their bags bulging with money. They piled into waiting Audis, the engines revving as they sped away into the night. Behind them, the facility lay in ruins, the vault door hanging open like a gaping wound. The police were in disarray. Burning trucks blocked their paths, and flat tires from the caltrops slowed their response. By the time they arrived at the scene, the robbers were long gone. The only evidence left behind was the front-end loader, its shovel still embedded in the wall, and a trail of destruction that led nowhere. But the police weren't giving up. Torben Lund, the lead investigator, knew this was no ordinary robbery. The level of planning, the precision, the sheer audacity, it was unlike anything Denmark had ever seen. Lund and his team began piecing together the clues, following the trail of stolen vehicles, burned-out trucks, and discarded gloves. Days later, the police discovered the robbers' hideout, a rundown farmhouse near Sengelusi. Inside, they found a treasure trove of evidence. Kalashnikovs, bulletproof vests, coveralls, and even a handwritten note with numbers crossed out, as if someone had been counting millions. The farmhouse was a hive of activity, with the crew coming and going, their movements tracked by the police. But the robbers were always one step ahead. When the police finally moved in, they found only empty containers and abandoned vehicles. The crew had vanished, leaving behind only traces of their presence. One by one, the robbers were caught. Marco Christiansen, the man on the roof, was arrested after a botched attempt to retrieve the stolen Audis. Christopher Wallin, a Swedish ex-con, was picked up at a hotel in Copenhagen. Tayeb C. Mirabet, the mastermind, was captured on Christmas Eve, his alibi crumbling under the weight of evidence. The trial was a spectacle, with the defendants maintaining their innocence even as the prosecution laid out a mountain of evidence. In the end, the verdict was unanimous. Guilty. The crew was sentenced to a combined century in prison, their dreams of wealth and freedom shattered. But one question remained. Where was the money? Of the 70 million kroner stolen, only a fraction had been recovered. The rest had vanished, spent on parties, drugs, and lavish lifestyles, or hidden away in secret caches. The police suspected that some of the cash had been smuggled out of the country, but they could never be sure. For Dorte Murch, Tayeb's ex-girlfriend, the ordeal was far from over. She had been dragged into the chaos, her life turned upside down by the man she once loved. But even as she rebuilt her life, she couldn't shake the feeling that Tayeb's promises of wealth and adventure were never far away. "Just wait, pumpkin," he had whispered to her during a prison visit. "I'll make you a millionaire again." And as the sun set over Copenhagen, the city returned to its quiet rhythm, the echoes of the heist fading into memory. But for those who had lived through it, the Copenhagen Job would always be a reminder of the thin line between ambition and destruction, and the high price of daring to cross it.